Hello vinyl community, George here, George Allen's LPs and CDs, and I am going to show some LPs and some 7-inchers that I picked up the other day. As I mentioned in my last video, I had some family visiting, and we went to look at some caves with some Native American artwork in them that dates back supposedly thousands of years ago. And while we were driving around town, my sister said to me, "Oh, let's go to some antique malls or something." So this one we went to, sure enough, had a vendor that was nothing but records, records, and records. So guess what George did? Bought some records. And I got some other stuff too that I'm going to show you that I happened to pick up. But first one I got, one that I'd lost a long time ago, is glad to get again. New Riders of the Purple Sage, their debut album. And boy, I remember when I first got this, I was in college. This came out in, I think, like 68, 69, something like that. And what was interesting about this, John Dawson on acoustic guitar and vocals, David Nelson on vocals and electric acoustic guitar, mandolin, and Dave Torbett on bass, and Jerry Garcia on pedal, steel guitar, and banjo, and Spencer Dryden on drums, and Mickey Hart on drums. Of course, Dryden and Hart, you know, Spencer Dryden was with Jefferson Airplane, Mickey Hart was with Grateful Dead, and Commander Cody on piano. So this was a very interesting album, and it's on you know, Columbia. And there's a picture of the guys there if you want to get a better picture of the guys. This was an album I really liked a lot, and yeah, no date on it, but I believe it was around 69, something like that. One of you guys can look it up and put it in the comments section if I'm way off, but I think I'm pretty close. The latest, it might have been 1970, I think. But I saw that, oh, these were like $5, and they are very, very good condition. Very good condition. You see that there? Pretty good condition. Some of them may have had a little scuff on it, but they played real well. I knew I shouldn't have taken this out of there. Anyhow, get it back in there. Get in there. Next one I got, surprise. I don't remember this one at all. This was from like, I think 1976, something like that. How about this? McGuinn, Clark, and Hillman. Another super trio, huh? How about that? And after separating from the Byrds, they decided that they would get together again. They wrote a bunch of songs, got together in Miami, and put this together. And I'll tell you, this is really a fine album. Harmonies sounded just like when they were back with the Byrds, and great album. Unfortunately, these guys did not last long. They did, I believe, 2 more albums after this, but each one after got, from what I understand, reading about them, got progressively worse. They just could not handle being together. So, McGuinn, Clark, and Hillman. I like this album a lot, though. Very good album. And it's on $5 one, and it's on Capitol. See that? So, very fine album. Next up is Average White Band. Cut the Cake. Well, they must have been celebrating something. Cut the Cake. I have not listened to this yet. This is my first Average White Band album, but I've always liked their music, what I've heard. And this one again, a $5 one on Atlantic. Looking forward to listening to it. And there's the back. This album is for our friend and brother, Robbie McIntosh. Maybe a former member of the band. This one I did not get to do much research on, except I knew it was their third studio album, so that's all I got to find out. Now this one I bought, well, this was a blind buy. The Roaches. The Roaches are three sisters, and this is their album, Nerds. They are from New Jersey, and they started out as the two older sisters started out as a duet, and they were playing clubs and stuff. Paul Simon heard them, and he had them do some backup vocals on Ryman Simon. Then when their youngest sister got out of high school, they became a trio, and they got a recording contract, and they write some unusual lyrics, and I guess that was their claim to fame was their satirical lyrics. And their live shows, I guess, were pretty wacky, but very good vocals, and they all play guitar, and they all have there's other musicians play with them on the when they play live and in the studio, obviously. And so this album's called The Nerds. It's very good. I like it a lot. They're on Warner Brothers. They did several albums. They've been, up until recently, they've been performing. I think one of the sisters then finally, a few years back, passed away from cancer, but they had a long career. Not a big super group or anything, but talented enough that they could keep getting gigs for many years. That's the Roaches. How'd you like to go through school, especially middle school, with a last name like Roach? Be pretty rough, huh? So then I got some 7-inchers. I got Patti Smith. Never Enough. Single off her album. Pretty cool, huh? And Juice Newton. These are all $1. Juice Newton, Heart of the Night. I got on Apple, Mary Hopkins, Those Were the Days, My Friend. I guess they're gonna end. Bruce Hornsby and The Range, Defenders of the Flag. So those are the 4 7-inchers I got. This was all at that antique mall. Then, because Randy Weaver showed this record, so I had to get it. The Jazztronauts, Out of the Night, on New Tone. So I had to get this because it sounded so stinking interesting. I got it, man, I loved it. These guys are really, look at that beautiful candy apple red vinyl. I love this record. I'm glad Randy showed it. Beautiful, beautiful funky jazz. These guys are great players. They're from Staten Island. They're listed as a trio, but that's because I guess the position of bass player changes off and on, I guess. If they have a bass player, they're a quartet. Oh, you have to have a bass player. Now, two different guys play bass on this, so I don't know if they have a permanent bass. They must have a permanent bass player by now. But you got to check this out, the Jazztronauts. Hey, if Randy Weaver likes it and I like it, it's got to be great, huh? Okay, so this one last record I'm showing. I really wanted to get an album by Max Roach that I listened to some on Spotify. It's called Deeds Not Words, and Amazon had it. I order it. What do I get? I get Glenn Campbell's oh crud, Like a Rhinestone Cowboy. I don't want Glenn Campbell's Like a Rhinestone Cowboy. So I send it back. Well, then they send me something else by some rapper. So I send that back. I said, listen, I don't want... And what's funny is, on the carton they send, it has the name, like they sent, the first one they send, Glenn Campbell's, it said Glenn Campbell on it, and they stuck another sticker over on top of it and said Max Roach, Deeds Not Words. So they knew it was Glenn Campbell in it, and some goofball at Amazon warehouse just stuck another sticker on it and sent it out. Then they did the same thing with the second one, you know, and I said, listen, I sent it back. Then after a couple of weeks, I still got no refund. And they said, well, you got to wait a few weeks for I to get it back. So I wrote them, I said, listen, normally it takes 2 or 3 days at my refund. And they says, well, we haven't got it back yet. What do you mean you haven't gotten it back yet? It takes 2 or 3 days to get it back yet. And they said, well, you have to allow so many weeks for us, UPS, to get it back to us. So finally I get my refund. I said, I'm not going to order another one from these guys because they don't have it is what it is. So somebody in the warehouse is just printing a label, sticking it on whatever album he can grab and send it out, hoping that I'm just going to keep it. So I go on eBay and I find on Riverside a copy of the original Max Roach, Deeds Not Words. That's what I did. I figured nuts with getting a reissue. Who cares? I'm going to go with the original. Max Roach, Deeds Not Words. Okay. Okay. So, it doesn't sound as fancy. It's not on 180 gram vinyl. I don't care. This one sounds pretty stinking good to me. So I have an original, and I'm happy with it. And that's with Amazon. I just got tired of it. You know, they just push you to the limit. Anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's it for today, folks. I see some contests coming up. Robert on my turntable's got a contest. Rachel with her new channel, Rachel's Ghost, has a contest, and I'm going to be working on all them. So we'll see you soon with some contest entries. So long.